first of all, I want to thank everybody for making it on the call and for being so patient. Before we get started, as usual, I want to give it back to our president, Mike Jacobson of GaREIA, and our executive director, Karen Yap. These two really do their best in bringing material content to our organization that is going to help everybody in growing to financial success when it comes to real estate investing. And myself, my name is Wendy Lovejoy. I am proud to be the marketing director for GaREIA. And I get so excited because in being the marketing director, I get to talk to a lot of people at GaREIA, see who's having success, how they're having success, and build some amazing business relationships with people. And one of the persons that I got to meet who actually listened to one of the teleclasses and came out to one of the meetings at GaREIA is a gentleman who's having success at wholesaling. And I got to get to know him, and he's just such an exciting, at the same time, gentle, business-minded person. And I cannot wait to let him tell you about himself. He came up with this great way of wholesaling, and he's the title of tonight's or this evening's teleclass is Wholesaling Real Estate on a Shoestring Budget. And the person that I am going to be interviewing and sharing the content with, his name is William Galloway, and his company is called Big House Investors. So, William, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. William, I would love for you to tell the audience who you are and just a little bit about yourself before we get into the topic of this call.
My name is William Galloway. I'm a happily married man to Tammy Galloway, my wife. I'm a proud member of World Changers International. I've been doing real estate investing going on a year and a half, almost 2 years now. I've been having very success in wholesaling. Some of you probably heard of it. Some of you probably haven't heard of it, but wholesaling real estate is just one of the niches in real estate because it's so broad. But I've been having much success. I've been a GaREIA member going on this month, make a year. So this is my 1-year anniversary with GaREIA, and I'm a proud member of GaREIA.
Awesome. And I know you've taken a lot of classes at the GaREIA, but tonight we're talking about wholesaling real estate on a shoestring budget. However, even though that's the content, I would like you to address to the audience why is it that we're starting tonight with mindset instead of getting right into how to get your first deal. Why are we talking about mindset today?
Mindset is very important, Wendy. A lot of investors, they're getting into business and they're getting overwhelmed with the dollar. They're looking at how much money you can make. They're looking at all these different gurus and all these investors talking about how you can get started with no cash, no credit, and all of those things are true. But in order to get involved with it, instead of you thinking about chasing the money, instead of you getting involved with it first, you have to get your mind right. Your mindset is the foundation before you even get into the business. That's with any business pretty much. I mean, whether you're trying to start your own business, whether you want to get into real estate, your mindset is very, very important. I call it the foundation. It's almost like a house. You can't frame a house. You can't put up the sheetrock. You can't start painting until the foundation is secure, because if you put those items up, the foundation comes down, then everything falls apart. So I kind of call the mindset the foundation, and that's why it's so important on some of the subjects we're going to touch today. The mindset is very, very important.
Right, and I agree with you. I'm actually, a strong believer in always starting everything with your mind, and it just amazes me that the success you're having, you would attribute to getting your mind right before you even got involved in doing what you do as an investor. But as you were dealing with your mindset, Will, what did it take for you to get your mind right? And at this point, how did you realize that you were then ready for this type of business, wholesaling? What did you start with to prepare your mind?
I think what I prepared myself for in the beginning, I had to first find out what I'm getting myself involved with. And I heard a lot of people talking about real estate. I've heard a lot of people talking about, like I say, no money down, no cash, and all that. And it kind of sounded in the beginning to anyone, it would sound like a scam. It would sound like it's something that's illegal. So I had to pretty much educate myself. Now, this is the first thing that I want to talk to anybody about. First and foremost, you got to educate yourself. You got to read a lot of books. YouTube, there's so many tons of videos on whatever you want to learn on YouTube. Not saying all of it is correct, but you'll get an idea once you start looking at a lot of videos and start reading a lot of books. You'll start being able to educate yourself and start having knowledge on what this business is about, because it's a lot that comes with it. And I think a lot of the beginning steps, just getting your priorities in order, that's important. Educating yourself, and even spiritually, getting your mind ready for it. You know, I had to spiritually get my mind ready for it. I am a God-fearing man, so I had to prepare myself mentally, spiritually, to get myself together to see if this is even for me. So before you even think about being a real estate investor, like I said, once you do your homework and you start educating yourself, you start reading your books, and you start mentally getting prepared, you'll see if this is even for you. I feel like what allowed me to understand that this was for me was the fact that I had a passion for real estate. And I think just by me having a passion for real estate, it allowed me to want to educate myself. It allowed me to want to look at videos, want to go further with this business. And you got to find what you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about this business, if you're just trying to do the business because you're hearing the dollar amount that could be made, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. I can do real estate. I can talk about real estate. I can do anything that's involved with real estate, and it don't even have to be about money. I just love what I do, and that's about having passion for what you do. And once you have the passion, then everything else will just come together. So first you got to see if this is even for you. So once, like I said, once you educate yourself and you find out what all comes along with the business, learning the business from A to Z, then you'll find out if this is even for you, even before you even get started, even spending any type of money.
Well, I hear your passion just on the phone, but what also gets me about you is I remember in meeting you, I sensed your passion then. I also realized that, spiritually you look at things very differently, but I'm always looking at somebody's what I call spirit of excellence, and you seem to exude that. So in getting your mindset, because again, the whole focus is definitely getting the audience that's listening and those that are going to replay this to know that you got to get your mind to a certain place before you even really start delving into the real estate part of it. One gentleman I met at GaREIA, I really believe his mind is on what he wants to accomplish. I'm not really hearing the passion yet that like you were exuding. But the other thing that got me with you is you heard a teleclass, and you said, okay, I like what this person's speaking about, this woman is saying on this teleclass. I'm going to go to GaREIA and look for the next event that she's having, and I'm going to make sure I go and approach her and speak to her. Are you approaching everything in that manner? Like the fact that you have this passion for this real estate, are you going after it with that same kind of zest and just making things happen?
Yeah, that's very important. I feel like taking action, and I was going to touch on it a little later, but I just feel like taking action is just very, very important. Whenever you say you're going to do something, you want to be a man or a woman of your word. When it's something that you feel like can be an asset to you or your business, you want to make sure you don't waste no time. You move on it very fast. And it's certain people that I feel like I needed to meet. It was certain people that I feel like I needed to talk to. There's certain people that I feel like I didn't need to talk to. But the people that I feel like that could be an asset to me or my company, I wanted to be able to reach out to those people. And it's people that's been reaching out to me just based upon my passion and just them meeting me at the REIA or wherever they just meet me, just hearing the way I talk. I found that's even helped me, because I used to not really be a person that would go to step to people and talk to people. I was always just a laid back, shy type. But I've learned that networking and speaking and getting involved with the community and getting involved with the REIA and just talking to people and speaking out, I've learned that it's helped me even with my business, and it's helped me learn because I've met people that I probably would have never met. I've been around people and talked to people that I probably would have never talked to if I didn't take that initial step to speak with them or to speak to them or to shake their hand or to ask for their business card. All of those things they play a part when you're basically trying to not only build your credibility within yourself but within your company and what you stand for.
But, I'm going to let you address more of that in a few minutes. I want to go back to just your passion. And I remember when I first met you, that's one of the things you said is, I don't really speak to people much. And I was like, but you have to, because your story, the success you're having, you have to share this so that other people in GaREIA can follow your footsteps. But what I realized with you may say, okay, you love real estate, but William, it seems like you love people and you love being a solution. You seem to have great solutions, even in your website, your selling website and the testimonials and the closings that you've had. I see that people are sharing how much of a solution you are to them. Is that something that came from you shifting your mindset, or is it something that just kept coming because you learned certain information and kept doing it?
That's I believe that really God shifted my mindset, because the way I was thinking last year compared to this year, it seems like I'm growing and growing every day. My mindset have changed. In the beginning, it was just strictly about just business and just trying to get started and trying to do deals and just trying to have success. But lately, I feel like God has been using me to not only be an asset for my company, but to be an asset to others. And even I think me and you talked, you even confirmed that. We had a conversation a long time ago, and you was pretty much telling me, you seem the same thing you're telling me now. You seem like a very passionate young man. You've had a lot of success and this, that, and the third. And once I started listening to it, I said, yeah. I started really confirming that that's true. And I am a great person. I am a people's person. And I noticed that even when people approach me or when people ask me for advice, I feel so good to talk about it. I feel so good the fact that I'm able to help this person lean towards success, or if this person need to talk to somebody, they can feel free or comfortable enough to talk to me, because I know in the beginning when I started, I didn't have too many people I could talk to in the beginning. I had to step out on faith and just take action and make a lot of those mistakes. But I didn't have that person that I could walk up to and say, hey, can you, give me some advice on this about real estate? Everybody's doing mentorship. And, you had to, basically pay for a mentor to get the advice that you needed. So, it just feels good that, people can give me a call or they can walk up to me and ask me questions. And getting back to earlier, the question that you asked earlier, was it the mindset? I think absolutely it was the mindset, because my mindset is just constantly growing. I'm constantly maturing. I'm constantly getting better and better at what I do. And like I said, I give it all to God. I give him the grace of God for that happening.
And I don't want to belittle what you're saying. I'm a spiritual person myself. We go to the same church. I believe in the same God you do, but I believe in faith without works is dead. You could sit there and believe in God. You could sit there and say, I'm waiting on God. But if you don't take action, it's just worthless. One of the things that I really appreciated with you, and you have such a light that comes on when you talk about helping somebody in real estate. And I remember when you and myself were talking with Karen the other day and putting this call together, her and I even commented in just how giving you are. And to me, that's not unusual at GaREIA. I'm not an exception. Karen is not an exception. We're not like, two people out of 500 that want to help. Everybody at GaREIA wants to see you be successful. And I have to think that even in the past few weeks, your mindset has shifted even more so, because I see you having grown even in the time since you started coming out. So mindset has to constantly keep evolving. And the bigger you grow and the more people approaching you, the more you have to grow. But what about the person, William, who says, I'm at the beginning of my business, and sure, you can talk like that because you've closed over 20, 30 deals now, but I'm brand new and I have fear. What would you say to that person?
Fear, there's no such thing as fear. You just gotta eliminate it. It's a mindset. You just gotta basically just eliminate it. First and foremost, you gotta believe in yourself. Once you believe in yourself, and believing in yourself, like I said, going back to earlier conversation, it starts with educating yourself. Educate yourself. Learn this business. Once you learn this business, I was talking to my wife about this earlier. Once you know what you're talking about, you're confident. And it's just like now this conversation, this is like my first call ever to be talking to an audience or anybody, and I didn't even know how it was going to go. But I'm confident because I know what I'm talking about. And once you know what you're talking about, you know the business, and that comes with educating yourself. That comes with getting involved with the GaREIA, meeting new people, coming out to the classes, learning as much as possible, asking questions to those people who's willing to answer them. Once you start learning this business and educating yourself and start building your confidence and you start believing in yourself, fear will get eliminated completely, because you can't have fear about something that you know about. I mean, if you know how to swim, you're not going to have fear to jump in the water because you know how to swim. So it's just about learning whatever it is you're trying to do. If we're talking about real estate, learn this business, educate yourself, read books, watch videos, ask questions, get involved with the GaREIA, get involved with the community, learn what it is so you can have the confidence to know that there's no fear here. There's no such thing as fear. I mean, you got to have the mindset of what's the worst thing can happen. Once I learned this business, like when I first started, I read the books. I did the YouTube videos and watched all the different training from all the different gurus you can think of. But then when it was time for me to get in the field, I was like, uh-oh, now what do I do? I got to, step out. I got to start talking to these sellers. I got to start talking to these buyers. But I had to take action. I had to believe in myself to know that I can do it. So once you believe in yourself, because one thing about it, everybody's going to tell you you can't do it. You're going to have family members telling you can't do it. You're going to have spouses telling you can't do it. You're going to have friends telling you, hey, this is illegal. How can you make money in real estate with no cash, no credit? That's a scam. Or you got to have a real estate license. People are going to tell you everything, but you can't blame them because people only go on what they know. You can only go off what you know, so you can't blame them for that. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own action. You're responsible for your own self, so that's why you got to get your mind right and educate yourself. Get confident in what you do, believe in yourself, and fear get eliminated out of the picture totally.
And you can't have passion and fear. They don't occupy the space. So if you're passionate about changing.
Hello?
Can you hear me, William?
Yeah, you was out for a minute, but I can hear you. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, I did. I can hear. I'm hearing everything, and what I was sharing is that you cannot have passion and fear at the same time because they don't occupy the same space. When you're passionate about something, the fear, like you said, does rub away, and so but the passion has to be for something you want to change. You got to be willing to move towards something and not be holding on to something at the same time. So even though you chose real estate and you had passion for real estate, you were leaving another environment. You were leaving another space. Whether, like some people come to GaREIA and they've had success in the corporate world, and now they're either retiring and they're looking at real estate for another reason, for another stream of income or a better lifestyle or to continue their lifestyle. So I always say they're leaving something and they're grabbing on to something else, and they're passionate about succeeding in that space. And when you're passionate about something, you also will not dilly-daddle. Like, you won't come to an event and look for everything why it won't work. A passionate person says, how can I make this work? How can I fit this person into what I'm doing? How can I take this deal? Because the great thing about real estate and doing it no money down and this and that, and I have to say, I share all the time, I'm a proud person who's, done money down with Robert D. Allen. And you can learn all that stuff, but until you go and take action, the seller doesn't know it's your first deal, and you'd be surprised how many people are still willing to sell you a house for $1 because they just want to get rid of it. But you won't get to that place until you get your mind right and you have the kind of energy and passion that you're exuding. So you have no fear, but I'm sure your first deal, William, wasn't like that. How was your first deal? Did you go out and feel like, yeah, I'm going to make this work, or was there some fear, but you did it anyway?
I had fear in the beginning. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that fear didn't knock on the door, but at the same time, fear is going to knock on the door, but that doesn't mean that you have to open that door. Speaking on as far as my first deal, I believe my first deal came from I sent out a letter to the seller, and that seller kept my letter. They didn't call me right off. They called me, I want to say 6 months after they received the letter, and they called me. And at the time, it's funny that we're talking about fear, because at the time, in the beginning, I started trying to wholesale. I was getting deals under contract, but I wasn't being able to get them closed. So I was still trying to find myself and figure out if this business even works. So I had to kind of step back away from it for a minute. And then when I sent that letter out, I had kind of wasn't really doing the business, still trying to figure it out, still trying to educate myself. And I got a call 6 months after I sent that initial letter out, and the homeowner was asking me, hey, I know you sent me this letter a while back, but I was wondering, were you still interested in purchasing the property? We have 2 different properties, and we was wondering whether you'd be interested in it because we kept your letter. And at the time, we wasn't looking to sell, but now we are, and we just wanted to reach out to you to see would you be interested. So I said, of course, yes, I'm interested. And at that time, I met up with them, and I got both of the deals. We discussed the terms. We got both of the deals under contract, and off both deals, we closed them within a week's time, and I made $11,000, and those were my first 2 deals. It was a two for one. But there was fear. There was fear knocking at the door in the beginning. But I just felt like, and I think a lot of other people feel the same way, I just feel like I just don't got nothing to lose. I felt like I didn't want to let myself down. I didn't want to let my family down. I felt like if this didn't work, then I got to go back to corporate America. I got to get a 9-to-5, which I don't have nothing against having a 9-to-5, but I just felt like God had something better in store for me, and I believed in myself, and I felt like I could make it possible. Yes, I'm gonna have to put in a little extra work. Yes, I'm gonna have to grind and try to figure it out. But I was willing to sacrifice, and I was willing to do whatever was possible to do whatever it needed to be I needed to do whatever I needed to do to make it work. And I was willing to just do that. And that's why there are going to be times where there's sleepless nights where you're going to be up all night in the beginning trying to write your own letters and your hand hurting, or doing your own bandit signs, writing the signs yourself out 2, 3 in the morning, putting out signs, wondering that the police going to pull you over. I mean, it's going to be so many. I'm not going to go on and on about some of the things I did in the beginning, and it's paid off now. And I put in the work. I put in the time. There's no grind without shine. So if you think you're going to get started and you think it's just going to, hey, I'm just going to do a $5,000 deal and I'm set, it doesn't work like that. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the grind. And if you're not willing to do that, that comes right back to the mindset. Your mindset got to be prepared to want to do whatever it's going to take. You got to just want to do whatever it's going to take to make this work. And I was willing to sacrifice whatever it took. I mean, first thing I thought about was my family. I can't let my family down. They need me. I mean, I felt like I needed to do whatever I needed to do, as long as there's nothing illegal. I felt like at this time, I felt like this was all I had. So it wasn't no such thing as fear at that point. The passion, I think, just drove me to just, push it forward and just go ahead and make it happen.
And I believe that. I believe you have to grind until you can shine, but some people want to shine without sticking it out. You got to keep doing it long enough until it works, because the great thing that happens is as you're going through the process of getting your mind right and being up at night, putting those bandit signs out and writing those yellow letters yourself and, taking them to the post office, getting all those stamps, you're growing through that process. You're developing. The person that did those first 2 deals is now a person who's positioned himself to do 10 or more deals a month because you grew, you learned everything. But my question is, what if you had stopped? What if in that first 6 months you didn't take the action and you had stopped? And those people who had your letter for 6 months, what if you stopped? You changed your phone number because it didn't work for you, or you weren't answering your phone calls. You would have never made your first 11,000, but you kept going. You kept going.
That's amazing. That's amazing just even hearing you say that, because, like you said, that's a prime example to anybody who's listening on the phone. You might not get that first deal the first week. You might not get it the first month. You might not get it the second or third month. It took me 6 to 8 months that I could have quit before that. And before I would have got that phone call, like you just said, Wendy, what if I changed my number? What if I decided after 6 to 8 months this business doesn't work? I had like, I want to say within that 6 to 8 month span before that first deal happened, I think three deals fell through. I had 3 deals under contract that just completely fell through. The buyers either backed out, or I had a buyer and then the seller changed their mind because I was taking too long, and it was just so much that was going on, and I was, like I said, I was still trying to figure it out. But one thing I didn't do, I didn't quit. And that's one thing I tell anybody on this phone, I do not tolerate quitters, because quitting that's just like the ultimate worst thing you could do, because you can quit and you could be a second away from that first deal, or you could be a second away from success. And I just don't believe in quit. I feel like if you're going to quit, just don't even do it, or at least go hard at it, get your first deal, and then if you feel like this ain't for you, then you want to do something else, cool. But at least do it. Get it done. Don't quit. That's the worst thing anybody could do.
And I agree wholeheartedly with that. A few years ago, I read a book by Juanita Bynum, and it's called Don't Get Off the Bus. And let's say, your stop is 42nd Street. And she shares in this book, it's like a very easy read, very small book, but she shares how some people will get off on 34th Street because they saw mud or something, and they get off the bus instead of going and not realizing that their next stop is 42nd Street. They get off too soon. And I see that with people. Their mind has not been developed to just stick it out. I tell people all the time, prove that it works first and then say I don't want to do it. But don't quit before time. You were at an event I recently did at GaREIA for 5 links, as a matter of fact, and one of the things I shared there is that I never sell people. I'm always looking for people that see it and they want to keep going. And so even with sellers, it's a numbers game. Every deal you do is not going to close, so you can't get attached to it. You can't take it personal. And when you don't have your mind right, that's what people do. They take it personal. Oh, it's not working for me. But I listened to your story, and I listened to my story. My first deal, after going to Robert Allen, I ended up doing 10 deals from one letter. So you have different experiences in real estate. but then I've had times where things got bad and I didn't quit. And here you are, you didn't quit in the very beginning. Why is it crucial, very crucial, that people take action right now?
I think it's now or never. I really think it's now or never. I feel like anybody can, and going back to what I talked about earlier, it's easy to educate yourself when you're by yourself. It's easy to read the books by yourself. It's easy to look at the videos. It's easy to talk to people about the real estate, call me and get my advice, get you a mentor. You can do all of those things, but it doesn't mean nothing if you're not willing to sacrifice and take action and step out there on faith. Because how are you going to know if this business works? How are you going to get success? How are you going to move forward if you don't take action? And I believe that it's a lot of people, that's the part besides the mindset. Of course, the mindset comes first because you have to mentally prepare yourself to see if this is even for you. But I believe taking action is just as important as the mindset, because once you get your mind right, okay, let's say you do get your mind right, you start educating yourself, you start getting some confidence, you start figuring out this business, okay, this might work for me. But then if you got the marketing game plan, or you educated yourself, or you got all the contracts you need, you got your lawyers in place, and you got your buyers in place, and you got a seller that's looking to sell, if before you can even get to those scenarios, if you don't take action, how are you even going to get your first deal? How are you even going to close any deal with that being said? Because a lot of people, what I find that I talk to a lot of beginning investors, they're asking me advice. They're asking me what type of marketing working. They're asking me all these questions, and that's great. And I love talking about it, and I'll answer them every day, have no problem with that. But when I ask them what type of campaigns are they working on right now, what are they doing right now, some of them are still in that mode where they're just talking, and they're just trying to figure it out, or they're just trying to see, what should I do first, or should I do this, or should I do that? Everything works. Marketing works. It ain't no marketing that don't work. Some work better than others, but you just got to take action. You just got to step out on faith and believe in yourself. Like I said earlier, believe in yourself, take action, and get started. Like I said in the beginning, I was just all over the place, and I don't advise nobody in the beginning to get all over the place, because you'll get overwhelmed very quickly. But like I told a couple of the different beginners came up to me and talked to me about what should they do in the beginning, and I basically told them there's so many different marketing channels that you can take, but I told them to find two and go hard at those two, and be passionate about sacrificing and doing whatever it takes to get. If you choose letters and bandit signs, I'm just making two marketing channels. I'm just throwing out the blue. Be persistent. Be consistent with it. Don't just put out a couple of letters, and then if you don't get no calls, or if you don't get the call you want, then you say it don't work. Don't put out 20 to 30 bandit signs, and then you don't get no call, then they get picked up, and then you say this don't work. Get some consistency. Keep doing it. Consistency is the key in this business. You got to keep marketing. You got to keep putting letters out. You got to take action. If you get out there and put out 100 letters, try to put 200 out the next week or the next month. Or if you put out 50 bandit signs, make your goal to put out 100 the next time. And you got to do it consistently. You got to have some type of consistency. But it starts with, like you say, taking action. And you got to step out there. How are you going to know if this business works for you? How are you going to get success without taking action? You're going to make mistakes. You can't run for those. But you have to take action to learn from those mistakes. I made so many mistakes in the beginning, but I've learned from those mistakes because I was willing to step out, have faith, and believe that I'm going to figure it out. You got to have the mindset of, okay, I've educated myself already. I already have the mindset, so what's the worst thing that can happen? I mean, I can figure it out, or I can get someone to help me. I just felt like I just had it in my mind that wasn't nothing going to stop me from succeeding, and wasn't nothing going to stop me from doing this business. And with that mentality and that mindset, that's pretty much what helped me.
And look at you now, not even a good 2 years later. Not only did you not let your family down, because I'm so excited, and I said, no, I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but I was like, ooh, can I brag on you? Because at 33 years old, you were able to, from your wholesaling you were able to buy your family a house with no mortgage. And just a call ago, I remember sharing how another gentleman in the story, Death of a Salesman, wanted that same dream for his family, but he worked over 30 years, and then when he retired, he just wanted a mortgage that's free and clear. And what he ended up doing was taking life insurance, killing himself so that the insurance could pay off the last mortgage. And here you are at 33 years old, and you've already done that, so your family never has to worry about a mortgage payment. How good does that feel for you?
I mean, I just get overwhelmed every time I think about it. That was one of me and my wife. That was our goal. Just as we think about our life and our future, and we always, that's one thing we both promised to each other, that our goal was to be debt free, cars paid for, house paid for, no credit card bills, no nothing. We just wanted to be debt free, because when we get to that age when we're ready to retire, we don't want to have to be worried about still working. And I know there's no disrespect to anybody who's out there trying to make ends meet to try to make a living. No disrespect, but you in the beginning when you just gotta want more, and you just gotta know that you can position yourself at an early age or earlier in your life. You can position yourself to be that person that's debt free. We believe in saving. We believe in preparing for retirement. We feel like this is the time now to prepare for the future. And it just so happened that God was able to bless me to be able to do it at an early age. But it wasn't easy. It was a lot of hard work and dedication that came along with it. My priorities had to be in order. I used to, before I even started real estate back in my past, I used to be a materialistic person. I used to be that person that was always in the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton store, spending unnecessary money, just buying jewelry, just spending money on stuff that didn't have no value to it. And as I matured, and as I just basically matured as a man, I learned that those type of things don't mean nothing. I know that having your priorities in order, preparing for your future, those are the type of things that I'm passionate about. Those are the type of things that drives me to want to be successful, because I don't want my family to have to worry about paying no mortgage. I don't want to have to worry about paying no car note, because those are the same things today that our parents and our grandparents are killing themselves trying to, stay living, and it hurts me when I see that. So I just wanted to make sure that my family, speaking on me and my wife, we don't have to be those same people. So now we have the choice to prepare at an early age for the future. And I'm very big on debt. So anybody on this call, just come up with a game plan. Come up with some type of game plan to where you can prepare for your future. It's never too late. Don't feel like you're no type of age to where you can't prepare, or you can't shift your life over and things start happening. Things can happen overnight. I mean, you can get your priorities in order today and prepare, and things can change overnight. So I just feel like anybody on this call, that's the first thing you need to do is just, get your priorities in order and prepare for your future, and want more, and just want to make it your goal to not want to be in debt.
And before you get financially free, because I'm passionate about being debt-free myself, and I believe your mindset and all of that, you got to have a budget. You got to know what it costs you to live the life you're living now, and then you got to put in your mind that you're going to do enough deals to cover that, so you can get to the point like William did, where you and your wife are putting money aside to make sure that when a house came up, you could pay it cash out and not have to worry about a mortgage. So I'm so excited about being on this call with you, and I cannot wait until we do the next two calls. So before we open up the call, William, to questions, what will you be sharing on call number 2? What can they look forward to?
Call number 2, we're going to be basically getting into kind of like the meat of the subject is wholesaling on the shoestring budget, And me and Wendy, we discussed this topic because, like I said, a lot of investors are approaching me. A lot of them are calling me and having a lot of questions. And there's so many people that come through Georgia REIA that have their courses. They have different systems that they have that, people in the beginning, they're just getting started, they can't afford. So the reason behind us coming up with this wholesaling on a shoestring budget, I'm just basically giving you some of the things that I used in the beginning when I didn't have the money that I needed to invest the way I wanted to invest. I used a lot of these strategies to get started, and it didn't take a whole lot of money to get started. Now, don't get me wrong. When you're wholesaling on a shoestring budget, mindset is important because you're gonna have to put in the grind, because a lot of the stuff that don't cost that much, or a lot of the things that are free, you're gonna expect to put in a little more work because of that fact that it's free and the fact that it doesn't cost as much as more of the other marketing channels. So you just got to be ready to know that when we go over these different marketing strategies, and some of these things you may have heard of, some of you may not have heard of, but when we go over these different strategies on how you can get started on a shoestring budget, just know that work is going to have to be involved, and you're going to have to put in the grind, and you got to be prepared to be ready to do that if you want to do this business. If you don't want to do this business and you're not ready to put in the grind, then maybe you just need to decide to search for another profession. And that's no disrespect to anyone, but I just want to know that this is not going to be easy. Once it get the rolling and once you get the momentum going, then things will start flowing. But it's still not going to be easy, because once you get the business started, then you got to put systems in place to keep it going on a continuous basis. So there's still steps within my business right now that I'm still building, and systems that I'm putting in place right now to try to make it to where this is a long-term and not a short-term business.
Right, and to me, I'm hearing you say this is not going to be easy, but I see people that work 9 to 5. That's why I love telling that Death of a Salesman story. He put in over 30 years. He missed family vacations. He missed his son's graduations. He missed people being sick. I mean, it's not an easy life when you get 30 years of your life, but you still cannot go home and have, a peaceful sleep because you're worried about a mortgage, you're worried about a car note, you're worried about credit cards. And yet there is a vehicle, there is a group like Georgia REIA that is willing to share the information, hold your hand, connect you to the right people, and say, okay, do it this way. Oh, you need this form? Here, this is where you can get it. I can't tell you how many times I even call Georgia REIA members and say, I'm on my way to do a deal and I don't have a contract with me. Where can I get one? Or, do you know where I can get a specific form right now? And they say, oh, yeah, where are you? Okay, you can go right here. I mean, that's the kind of...
Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but piggybacking on what you just said, piggybacking on what you said, I just came to the Deal Makers class for the first time, I think last Wednesday, and the gentleman, Wayne, approached me, and he was, he wanted to meet me, and we spoke for a minute, and he asked me did I want to be involved with the Google group that's for Deal Makers. And I said, yeah. He said, okay, well, that you're going to be getting a lot of emails and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's fine, But since I've subscribed to it, I've been getting so many different emails from it. And when I look at it, the emails and kind of read it, it's so many people that's having so many different questions and concerns and, questions about how to deal with their tenants. Do you have any contractors that I can use? Can you do this? Can you help me with this? Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was so cool that, that everybody's within the group is working together to try to make sure that there's nothing that nobody in this organization needs that can't get answered. If you need a contractor, hey, call this person. If you need a question about a tenant, hey, this is what you need to do for this. It's like everybody is so, giving, and they don't mind sharing the information. It's just about a family. It's like a family thing, and everybody's helping each other. And when I seen, all the emails coming through and everybody just talking back and forth, I just thought that was pretty cool. And, Georgia REIA is just one of those places where you can just feel at home. And I think that's how I felt in the beginning, because I had the choice to choose to do a membership with the Atlanta REIA, and it was a nice setting. It was a nice, when I went to the meeting, it was nice. But when I came to the Georgia REIA, I think I told Karen, I just felt at home. I felt at peace. I went out to a couple of the classes. I know Robert has a great class on wholesaling on Thursday, every first Thursday. Met a lot of people there and deals makers, like I say, in the general meeting. I just met a lot of people, and it's like everybody who I meet, they just make me feel like family, and they just very nice people, and they don't mind helping you. And that's what you want to be a part of. You want to be a part of a family-oriented type of organization to where if you are that beginning investor that's looking to get out there and you might have struggles in the beginning or need questions answered, it's people out here like myself and Wendy and a lot of people in this organization that's willing to help you, and they're not even in it, for the money. They just want to see you succeed, and that's the type of organization you want to be a part of.
And that's so exciting because I share that all the time. People look at me like, yeah, okay, well, she's the marketing director, but I had that experience years ago when I was flipping a lot of deals. It came from everything I learned from Georgia REIA. Now my focus is wholesaling or keeping and holding and some flips. And the love at Georgia REIA, and like you said, Deal Makers is not the only one. Every group has its own Google group, and they share information. And Karen and Kurt Smith are really great at sending out emails and texts on what's happening. And if you didn't read your emails, you would have never gotten the teleclass information. You would have never watched or checked out the information on marketing I was putting out there. You would have never come out. I meet people like yourself who are at Georgia REIA and not coming out and networking. And I say, just come out. Come to different things. When we were having the conversation after Deal Makers, I said one of the people you got to know is that gentleman right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's there. And then, of course, Karen shares your excited. And, we're not going to keep everybody on the call much longer. So we'd like to open up the call and see if there's any questions for William, because he's definitely having success in wholesaling. And I know that to be real. So you feel free to ask him any questions pertaining to wholesaling. Does anybody have yes, please share your name and where you're calling from and whatever your question may be.
Well, this is Charlotte Galloway, and I'm the mother of William Galloway, and I can testify to, and I'm just not saying this because I'm his mother, I know he has a passion for this, because about 3 years ago, he didn't even mention anything like this, and with him, he didn't have anything that I would have known that at this date and time that he would be successful like he is now. And I know it's nobody but the good Lord above that's shining upon him and his family, because, again, like I said, 3 years ago, he didn't have that passion. He had did a little more flipping houses previously, but nothing permanent, nothing long-term. But he had that bug in him. And that bug, I guess, was still in him, just like a flu or something. That bug was just holding on to him. And maybe it took him years later, but he did develop that love for it, and it's just growing and growing. And like they said, he paid for his house, and he can do that. Most people today can't buy a home within 3 years of starting a business like this. But, again, I know it's from the good Lord above, and I want him to keep on. He's doing a great job, and he's going to have more and more success. And the main thing, he wants to give back. And a lot of people want to keep things to themselves. They don't want to tell anybody because they're thinking they'll get something that I don't have. But I notice my son is a loving, caring person, and by him getting on this call now proves that he wants to share with others. And I just love him for doing this. And I listened, and I was the first one that came in on the call, and I listened to the whole thing. Keep up the good work.
And before your son answers you, Mrs. Galloway, I just want to say I am so glad to have the opportunity to say to you thank you, because you raised a really well-mannered young man. And that speaks a lot in itself. So I really have to say thank you to you. He's really a giving person and very polite and a true gentleman. So kudos to you.
Yeah, his wife has a lot to do with it. I started it all, but she's definitely finishing the good guy part of him, and I thank her also.
Awesome, yes, and I got to meet her, and I can say I was able to say that to her face, but I'm meeting you on the phone, so I say it to you over the phone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will, so doesn't it feel good to have your mom on the call, being proud of you and being able to bring your wife to a meeting and she's proud of you? Isn't that a good feeling?
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. I mean, I'm completely overwhelmed, and I'm just blessed. I'm just very, very thankful. I'm thankful to be on this call. I would have never thought that I would be on a call and people would be wanting to hear what I got to say or just want to hear my story. I'm just honored just to be here. I'm honored that God is using me to touch people, because I said that I just want to be a motivation for somebody to get started, to be successful. I want to be that person that people can say, if he can do it, I can do it, you know. And I feel like that I'm rubbing that off on people, and that's what my whole motive. I'm not trying to, you know, step on nobody's toes. I'm not trying to act like I know everything. I just want to be an asset for somebody to gain success, and that's all I'm trying to do. And I feel like that's my purpose. I feel like that's, you know, what God's using me to do, and I'm just excited because everything is just falling into place, and I'm not doing anything. I mean, He's done it, so I'm just continuously following His lead, and I'm just, you know, letting Him use me whatever way He needs to, and I'm just trying to be, like I said, an asset to others and a motivation to let people know that if I can do it, if Will can do it, then you can do it too.
Awesome. So, yes, please ask any questions.
Yes, I just wanted to ask a question. My name is Carla. I'm William's sister, and I don't know if this was mentioned on the call already because, unfortunately, I got off a little late and I joined the call late, but did you mention the part, or were you able to express to the audience the part about how they get started with the financing? Although it is a shoestring budget, if you are on a shoestring budget, how do you get the financing to wholesale these properties?
Well, we're going to be discussing that on the next call. Today we were only focusing on getting your mind right, so you will be doing that.
Okay.
So thank you for asking that. Anybody else with a question pertaining to today's call?
Yes, I have one. Yes, I do.
Please.
This is little Derek, his oldest brother. I'm very proud of my little brother, man. I guess I was the one that raised him between my mother and his wife now. And I look at him now as my biggest inspiration. It was been so long that I've been, you know, influential to him, and that to see where he at now, I mean, I'm proud of you, bro, and I love you. And I've been on since 5:20, and I'll get with you tomorrow.
Awesome. So do you have a question at all?
Yes. The question is, could you take the same format that you did into like another state, or is it that's only for Georgia?
You talking about wholesaling, or what you talking about?
He's talking about wholesaling, Will. Could you do this in any other state?
Yes, you can do this anywhere. Anywhere that they sell real estate, you can do this business.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere where you can buy and sell a house, you can do this business.
Awesome.
Okay,
and any other person with a question on today's topic, wholesaling, or any of the mindset information we shared?
Yes, this is Martin.
Okay, I heard two people. We'll let the lady go first. Please announce your name and where you're calling from.
No, lady.
Hello. Okay. The person that's speaking now, then you can go. Go ahead.
Hi. My name's Dan Jones, and I was just wondering, maybe you're going to get into this in a future call, but I was kind of wondering, who are you selling the properties to, and are you doing simultaneous closings, or are you assigning contracts, or how are you doing it?
Okay, so that we're going to answer toward the next call. Am I correct, William?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, I can answer it now, or whatever you want me to do.
Oh, no, well, then go ahead. Answer it now.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
You can feel free to answer it now.
Okay, I mean, what you said, I'm sorry, sir, you said, am I doing simultaneous closings or assignments, and what was the other question?
Who are you selling to? How did you develop a buyer's list?
The first question, am I simultaneous closing and am I assigning? Yes, I'm doing both of them. I normally do simultaneous closings to answer that question. So yes, I do both of those. As far as buyers, buyers can come in so many different ways. Of course, you got to put out your different marketing campaigns. Of course, we'll be going over that on the other different calls about the marketing part of this business, wholesaling on shoestring budget. So I'm on the other calls that I want you to come on. We have 2 more within this month. If you got an email, you'll see on the calendar all the different dates. I'm going to be going over different marketing strategies that I use to get me started trying to get sellers and also buyers. But buyers is pretty much just to give you a shortcut answer. It came from trial and error. And a lot of times, as buyers, people don't understand that once you get a good deal, buyers are going to find you. So you want to just continuously keep a contact of these different buyers, do your research and find out who's buying in what areas, and you're going to have to start reaching out to those people in different marketing channels that we're going to touch on in the future calls. But just to give you, like I said, a shortcut answer, once you have a good deal, the buyers are going to find you, and that just comes with different marketing techniques that I'm going to talk to you about in the future calls that you can put in place, and these buyers are going to come finding you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for asking that question, and we'll take one more person.
Yeah, this is James.
Hey, James.
Hi.
What's going on, James?
Not much, man. I'm brand new in the Georgia market, and I would like to know, experienced person like you, if I wanted to hook up with you, how would that work?
You said if you want to hook up with me.
Let's say let's say I was trying to, do the same thing that you are doing. How can I get in contact with you, for help or some advice or whatever?
Yeah, anybody who want to reach out to me who's thinking about doing this business, you can call me directly. My number is 678-671-6644. If you just need to talk about a deal, or you just want to ask a question or something like that, you can always give me a call. That number again is 678-671-6644. And I don't mind, giving any type of advice that I can, help out with.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did we hear anybody else with a call or a question? With a comment or a question on the call?
Yes, this is Corey Smith.
Okay, Mr. Smith, or we can hear the first name?
Corey.
Corey, yes, Corey. Yes. Feel free to ask your question.
Yes, my question for Will is, how did you stay focused on just real estate itself? When staying in Atlanta, there's so many different avenues that you can take. How did you stay focused on just real estate?
That just goes back to the mind state, the mindset, like we talked about earlier. The mindset is so important because we've all been prone to trying to find that niche that's going to take us to the top, and sometimes we'll get caught up with trying to do too much at one time. And I've even been that type of person, just trying to chase the dollar instead of chasing your passion, like I talked about earlier. That's why chasing your passion is going to always win over trying to chase the dollar, because once you chase your passion, it's not going to be about the dollar, because the dollars are just going to come. Once you're doing what you're passionate about you're going to give it 100% because you just love what you do. And once you find what you love to do and what you're passionate about and you go hard at that, you'll gain success, because there's no way, I've never heard of nobody who's passionate about something and they give 100% toward it and not get success unless it's just something that they just don't need to be doing. But most of the time when you're passionate about something and then your mindset is ready and you educate yourself and you know what you're doing for whatever that niche is, you should be able to have some type of success within that. But you can't get caught up with, like you're saying, there's so many things to do, there's so many different angles you can go at, so many different businesses and job opportunities you can start. You got to find what it is that, like I said, you're passionate about, what you want to do. And once you decide that, I think you just need to just focus just in on one thing, because when you get all over the place, you'll have all these things that you're doing this and you over here and you over there and you just all over the place, and you think you're getting something accomplished, but you're really not. You're really just you're fooling yourself, So you gotta find what it is you want to do. Find what it is that makes Corey feel like, oh, I just love to do this. I mean, this is just what I love to do. Everybody have it. You just gotta find it. Everybody has something that they love to do or something that they're passionate about. And like I say, I love to do real estate, and I'm passionate about real estate, and I can talk about real estate, and I don't even have to make no money. I can talk to y'all. I can talk to a class. I can do anything, and it's not about the money. It's just more I just love what I do, and I just love to give within it, and I know that that's the reason why the success has came, because I found what I love to do. I'm passionate about it. I give 100%. I give within it, because when I receive, I'm willing to give back. And with all those things, being passionate and giving back and all these things playing a part, there's no way that you can't have success in what it is you want to do.
And there's a difference, Corey, in
your phone kind of going in and out.
You won't get.
Are you there, Wendy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, yes. I was saying to Corey that, when you have systems in place, it will tell you the other things you should be adding, and they'll be helping your business grow. But when you don't have a foundation, your mindset, the stuff you really wanting to do, you will be all over the place. So I agree with William on that. But I also believe that certain things you could add because they're really helping your business grow, and that would be one way to look at it. But guys, I really appreciate you all being on this call. I think we heard another person who wanted to ask a question, and then we're definitely going to close it out after that person. Did I hear one more person? Okay, so we definitely did really 2 calls today. The next call won't be as long, but if you know anybody that this information can benefit, invite them to read the emails, the 7-day forecast. The replay number will be on there. And if you text GaREIA to 55469, text the word GaREIA to 55469, you will get the upcoming information and the teleplay, the replay and the next teleclass, and you can stay informed, okay? William, is there one last thing you wanted to share before I close us out?
I just want everybody just to stay tuned. I mean, this is the beginning. We're just getting started. We did give out a lot of positive content today that can be a benefit to anybody on the phone, but we have 2 more calls spread out through the rest of the month. Go on the GaREIA website, go on the calendar, and make sure you tune in to the up-and-coming events. I'm going to get into different marketing. Answer any questions about, how to do this business and how to get started. And I'm excited. I just want people to continue to tune in and tell a friend or a family, and somebody who didn't hear it, like she said earlier, you'll be able to play the replay to hear what I said. Something that you missed over, you'll be able to go back to the recording and listen. But I just want everybody to stay tuned. I appreciate everybody for coming on the call. I know you guys could have been doing anything. I know a lot of my family is on the phone who supported me. I want to tell everybody I love them and I appreciate them. And I'm just looking forward to the other calls and, hoping that I can be an asset to somebody.
And with that being said, again, thank you so much, Mike Jacobson, our president of GaREIA, Karen Yap, our executive director. Come out to the main office on Tilly Mill Road. You can go to the website, call, come out, hang out. It's a family atmosphere, very respectful. Nobody's doing anything out of order. We're all there to help you grow, and that's the only agenda at GaREIA. So with that being said, I really want to thank everybody. I definitely give it back to William Galloway, because had he not been consistent, anybody can support, well, not anybody, but people can support, people can feed you information. At the end of the day, he had to take action. And if you're on this call, that was the whole point. He and I wanted you to get you to understand. You got to take action. You got to take action and reach out. We're here to help. So with that being said, thank you again.
I'm sorry,
we'll see you on.
I'm sorry, Wendy. I wanted to also thank
Sure.
Karen and Mike Jacobs, and I wanted to thank you for just giving me the opportunity to be able to speak. So I definitely want to thank my GaREIA family, and I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you because, again, had you not kept going, William, you wouldn't be on this call. And had we not, you had not reached out when you and listened to your gut, your spirit, the Holy Spirit guiding you to do what you did, which is come out, communicate, I wouldn't have led to this. So with that being said, I really want to thank you and thank Karen Yap again, because this would not have happened without her. So good night, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. We'll see you on the next call.